Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Northeast Scene Podcast. This is Keith.
And Tommy.
We have a special guest tonight. Us.
Yeah.
Just us.
Woo,
No no guest this week because I'm on vacation. And you know what? I don't want to stress about it. So this is my break. But listen, we are committed to bringing you new episodes every single Monday, no matter what. So even if there's no guest, we're still going to be here. This is it. Here we are.
This is just what we do.
Yeah. This is our life, man. We don't do anything else. This is it. So guess what? Guess what?
What?
My beach trip is canceled.
Oh, no Hamptons for you?
No Hamptons for me. Can you believe that?
What happened?
Well, Romy...
Hold on, the bed is so loud. Is it really, is it that loud on your end?
It's loud, but, it'll be mixed when this is all over.
Okay.
So, okay, there. I only did it for a minute, because I knew that was gonna...
I always think of whenever I hear, somebody's like, oh, I'm going on vacation. You know that song, The Girl from Ipanema? Dun, dun, dun. That's all I can think of, and I don't know why that comes in my head, but it really it's like I think it was on a Simpsons episode or something like that, where somebody said something about going on vacation, and it's just constantly.
Well, guess what? The trip is canceled. Romy, that's my girlfriend for the wonderful listeners at home. She got her first paying job this weekend, I think. First paying job since February.
Oh my God!
Can you believe that?
Yeah. That's insane. Well, I mean, she works in the fashion industry, so everything's essentially just been on hold.
Yes, and she's done a couple one-off things. Here's the deal. She gets the paid gigs are obviously what she needs to do, but she'll also do these unpaid things for magazines and stuff to get her name out there. It's like us doing this thing. It's like a project to build up your resume to get something out there. So she's doing one of those tomorrow, but she's doing her first paid gig since February this weekend, so we had to cancel the trip.
But that's good for her, though. That's really awesome.
That's the thing, and I was bummed about, because at work I'm like, oh, I'm going to the beach. I took a week off. I haven't taken a week off in 3 years. I haven't gone to the beach in 2 years, and I'm like,
really?
Yeah. Last real vacation I took was 2017.
Jesus.
I know. But I don't have I don't know. I don't do anything. You know what I mean?
This is kind of like a what do you call that? Cognitive dissonance. When you say you're going to the beach, all I imagine you is just standing there with a black shirt and black jeans, being with your arms folded, huh. Now, this ocean's loud as fuck.
I actually really like the beach. I do wear a black shirt and black jeans there. But I take the black jeans off when I get there, and I have a bathing suit on underneath them.
Oh, are you a good swimmer?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in water as a kid, so I like the ocean. I like it. So we're just going to go out to J. Reese one day in the next couple weeks. That's a nice beach here, and that'll be fine.
That's cool.
So, folks, we wanted to check in with you because Tommy and I have not spoken, just us, since episode 5.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
A really long time. And look, there's a lot of business we need to cover. And there's a lot of good interviews that we've done that we want to discuss a little bit.
Kind of do a little clip show recap kind of talk,
Yeah. Oh, I should have prepared clips.
Oh, don't do that.
No, but let's get the business out of the way first. Now,
cool.
We haven't gotten many emails from people lately.
Yeah.
And we want to. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories, right? That was the original intent, to hear some stories and that kind of stuff from your scenes. We want to hear some feedback. Are we annoying? Should we be less annoying? Let me ask you a question, Tommy. Yeah. Have you ever heard any negative feedback about the show?
My mom doesn't like it.
Really?
No.
Why?
Because we swear.
Oh.
She doesn't like it.
Really?
Swear. Yeah.
If we didn't swear, would she like it?
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent. She always has I think I talked about this before, but everything my mom has dealt with in terms of anything that had to do with music, she's always been kind of I don't. She just doesn't get it. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't understand the screaming part of it. She doesn't understand why it's so heavy. My
Yeah.
mom is a big like classical music and opera person, so like for her, it's like it's just
She has culture.
what's that? Remember that clip from that Mogwai song? It's a big load of trashy old noise.
Yeah.
Like that Iggy Pop clip. Yeah, she just thinks it's just, but it's in fact the brilliant work of a genius. Myself. No?
Well, the only negative feedback I've ever heard was that the volume was way off for the first 4 episodes. The ones we recorded in person.
Oh, okay.
That was before we had the wonderful Richard Taver to mix them, though.
Oh, yeah. No.
So that's it. So, folks, if give us feedback, let us know what we could do better or worse. Write us with stories. We like that kind of stuff. There's some we get a lot of the Instagram seems to be the main hub for this thing. So
yeah, I saw people telling stories about one of the show flyers that you had posted. It was the one at Palanca Park where the chandelier came down, and there was a whole thread about people just talking about how they kind of hung it back up with like stuff from the coat room,
wire
like
hangers,
wire hangers and stuff.
Yeah. That was Damien said that was the one and only show he's ever done.
Oh yeah, dude, because the amount of stress that goes into doing that is just I don't. It always kind of blew me away that like when you would go to those shows, you'd be like, "Who did this?" I mean, like, some 19-year-old, like, really?
Yeah, I was always amazed that people could like Pat McCormick is our dear friend. He's going to be on the show later in this episode. As soon as he got a computer, he right away he started booking shows.
Oh,
I was like dumbfounded by that. I was like, "How is he doing that?"
I have a funny like when Pat gets on, I have a funny thing to talk with him about because like. Pat was always no. I'll wait till he's on, so I'll save it. But yeah, he's one of these people that like I never got a good read on Pat. Like he was always just so quiet and just so he always kind of looked like he was in a bad mood.
Yeah,
and
people say that about me too, so I think that's why we're such good friends.
But every time I would talk to him, he would be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Like he was always like, so polite and so nice. So I was like, oh shit, you don't hate me? I really thought you didn't like me for the longest time. Like he was always so nice to me. I'm like, Jesus, you from a distance, you seem like you hate everyone and everything. Like he just.
Well, we're gonna ask him if he does.
What's that? There's a word for. He's like a curmudgeon.
Yeah,
he's just like everything's like.
Well, he's gonna be on the show. So, but folks, write us, interact with us, continue to send us flyers. If you like an episode, throw up an Instagram story and let people know about it because that helps out a lot. And reviews. We need reviews.
Yes.
We got a new one from Vadim. Yeah. You ready for this?
Vadim Taver. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm scrolling down. Okay, from Vegan Vadim. Keith and Tommy are great at keeping listeners engaged in conversation with musicians and asking excellent questions of interest. All right. They throw in humor at just the right times and allow the speaker oftentimes to take the conversations outside of music. Yes.
Yeah, that's
A+ listening, especially if you grew up in hardcore in the late 90s, early 2000s in Philly, New Jersey, New York, tri-state area. 5 stars. Thank you, Vadim. By the way, Vadim...
Wouldn't it be funny if he left like 3.5? Like,
I would have to have words with him. He's the first person to declare himself a member of the Northeast scene.
Oh, you got to explain it real fast again, just because like people are gonna hear that and be like, "Wait, I gotta fucking pay for this thing?" Like,
yeah, like no, dude, you're a member when you say you are. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you just declare it. That's awesome. Well, I actually was gonna say with this, like, how have you always start out with the question of like, how have you been coping in this age of Corona?
Yeah.
So, what's it been like for you? How's everything going?
It has been fine. I still have the same job, right?
Nice.
I work for the same company.
Yeah.
I'm transitioning into a new role, like
nice.
It's like a step up. It'll be a lot more work and a lot of training, but like hopefully more money.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. I think I am moving. Well, not I think I'm moving in with Romy on Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome.
In 2 months. Yo, have you ever lived with a woman you've been with?
Yes and no. Well, so it's
No,
kinda,
dude, that's a joke. You're married. The answer is yes.
well, yeah, I mean, yes, but I mean, so I think one of the things though is like, so Kelly and I started kind of living together before we were even really like together.
Really?
Yeah. So the weird part is we met because we lived in the same. It was like this giant house in the town we went to college in, and it was like this giant house that had been partitioned into separate apartments.
Yeah.
And I lived with a couple guys I played lacrosse with, and she was at the very least combative with us at first.
Yeah.
And to kind of smooth things over, she left us a note in our mailbox that said, I kind of want to get everybody together in the building so that, we're all friendly, or at least on, speaking terms. And I made a bunch of lasagna if you guys want to come down. So when I moved to the new house the next year, we were still friendly. We actually became really close friends because she would go out to parties, and we had lacrosse games and stuff like that, so we couldn't go out. So she would consistently like call us and say like, "Hey, I'm at this party, and can you, I've had too much to drink. Can you come and walk me home?" So we kind of came like this, like, walk her and her friends back to the
Wait,
dorm.
so the question was, have you ever lived with someone you've been dating?
So when I moved to the new house, she just started coming over and hanging out there, and then just started sleeping there, and then her toothbrush was there, and then she just started sleeping at our house.
So that was, but that's like a group of people in a house. I'm talking like you're in a relationship.
Oh, well, that's how we started really dating, though. Like, because she was just there all the time, and so we just,
I've never lived
with a significant other
ever. Can you believe that?
Knowing you, yeah, no, like 100%. Like, you have your stuff, and you like the things that you like your stuff the way it is, and you are, you're you, man. You have that idea of like, this is, you like to, you not only enjoy being alone, like you prefer it sometimes. You can see like, you're just like, all right, I'm going to go play video games by myself. Bye.
Yes.
Like
yes.
you enjoy that time. So for you to be like, oh, I'm living with this girl, I'd be like, well, where's your room? Like,
she's making me a room like for the video games, and so I can do the podcast in there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that makes total sense, because that's your personality. Is you definitely have that like you come off as, especially like with just the way you carry yourself, like you are very, when you're right around like new people, like you don't say a goddamn word. Like you just are, like you're solitary. Like you are just by yourself. So when you say, I've never lived with a woman, I totally can see that.
Well, this will be the first time I'm moving from Williamsburg, Brooklyn to the East Village, which is an awesome neighborhood. Used to go out there and party a lot. I always wanted to live there. I was like, yeah, man, this is where it's all at. I could live here and go to like all the bars. And then I stopped drinking and all that. And I was like, I would never fucking live there. There's too much going on. I want to be somewhere quiet. And now I'm moving back there. Like I'm moving there.
That's pretty cool, though. It's
an awesome neighborhood. When you come up, you got to come up and visit whenever like you can. And it's just awesome.
Yeah, whenever this Corona is fucking like not around anymore, which apparently.
Oh right, we gotta wait for a vaccine for you because you don't have a spleen, right?
No, I literally I actually just sent my thing to work last week. That was my note from my doctor saying like I'm not allowed in the building until there's either herd immunity and it's safe for me to kind of return like that, or there is a vaccine that I get and then I can be back in the building. But until then, I will be teaching math remotely from my house, so I have a setup in my basement I'll be using. But
perfect. No more commute.
So it's gonna be a interesting transition though, because essentially what they have to do now is they have to hire a substitute to basically be like my proxy in the classroom. So you can't just have 30 kids in a classroom and no teacher there.
Oh, right. They would go wild.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Like just me on a video screen being like, don't touch that. What are you doing? Sit down. Sit down.
They're going to be like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Like you're 20 miles away, stupid. Like do something. So, so that's going to be kind of an interesting hurdle to get over. But it doesn't look like we're going to be back in a school building anytime soon. Today was my first day of work.
What?
Yeah. So I was on meetings all morning, actually all day from like 8 until 4. And the last...
This early?
Yeah. My school, I'm a charter school, so our school year is normal. Public schools do 180 days. Teachers typically do 185, I think, or 186. My school's charter is written for 195 days of kids being there, and my school year is, I think, 203. So, I'm usually there 10 days earlier than the kids, and I'm there, a day or two after they leave.
Yeah.
So, it's a much longer year, but I prefer it like this. I like getting back because the first, couple weeks of school is really just kids getting into what does a classroom look like in terms of like, what does my behavior look like? Where do things belong? How do I act when I'm in here? When I need things, like where do I go? I'm lucky enough that I have kids that are 6th grade, so they're fairly autonomous when it comes to like being in a classroom. So it's really nice to set up, like have a whole week of just like, what are the procedures in my classroom? So for example, like I don't ever stop teaching if someone needs to sharpen their pencil. Like a kid will just hold their pencil up and we use a lot of sign language.
That's good.
They'll give me a signal, and I just point that, like I just go, yeah, go. Or like they'll show me like, it's like imagine making a fist and putting your thumb in between your index and your middle finger. That's the symbol for bathroom. So like when kids show me that, I just kind of like write like a little thing, like while I'm teaching, like, hey, write it out, like put it on your hall pass, and then they, while I'm still teaching, walk up with their pass, and I sign their pass and send them out to the bathroom. Like,
do you ever like not let a kid go to the bathroom for some reason?
Yeah. So that's actually a procedural thing in the beginning of this school year. I set up that if without getting into like too detailed.
Yeah, give me the short version, because I can already hear you winding up.
There's already like, so the part that they call direct instruction, mainly the part where I'm teaching the new thing, like whatever that lesson is for the day, like the new part, you can't leave then. Like I'm not reteaching you what you could have learned if you were in here for that 10 or 15, and it's only about 10 to 15 minutes of class. So we have a rule in school, it's first 5, last 5. So in the first 5 minutes, you can't go to the bathroom, and in the last 5 minutes, you can't go to the bathroom, and then I add in, you can't leave during direct instruction. You can't leave.
But do you ever, if a kid asks, so if it doesn't fall within those parameters, he can't go. He or she or whoever can't go to the bathroom.
No. I mean, now if it's something like, look, there's an emergency,
if there's going to be a problem,
and the thing is like you start to feel like after a couple weeks with the kids, you start to feel out like who's the kid that, like, if somebody is like constantly like, I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom, like they're doing it to avoid work or they're doing it to avoid something in the classroom, like it's obvious.
Yes.
But, there's a couple times where like there's kids that have like literally never asked me to go to the bathroom, and then like all of a sudden, like the middle of October, they look at me and they're like, I need to use the bathroom, like, and they'll show me the bathroom sign, and you could see it on their face, like, and I'm like, bring it up, I'll sign it now, I don't care if I'm in the middle of teaching. Like I can clearly see what you're having to do is
it's an emergency.
It's an important thing, so go ahead and take care of it. But I think the biggest thing with them is like understanding that my class is an hour and a half long. I really only need you in here for a solid 20 minutes, like first 5, last 5, and then 10 minutes of instruction. Like the rest of the time, if you need to go to the bathroom, by all means, like I'll send you.
So you live in Feasterville, right?
Yeah. So I'm like the biggest thing that's really close to my house, most people know, is Parks Casino. I live on the borderline between where Feasterville meets Ben Salem. So I'm only about a minute off of Street Road.
So where do you record? In your basement?
Yeah, so I go down to my basement. In my house, our basement is completely finished. So we actually have a full bath down here and extra freezer and extra refrigerator and stuff like that. So it's also set up kind of like my daughter's playroom. So like a lot of their bigger toys that would take up too much room upstairs, like, fake kitchen play sets and, toy boxes and stuff like that. They're all down here.
Yeah, I record in my large living room it doesn't have much in it. That's why it sounds so cavernous.
Yeah.
And I turn off the air when I'm doing that. So it's boiling in the summertime. But no, I'm actually looking forward to moving to the East Village because I'm at the point now where like I'm kind of over myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like my schedule all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like it can be fun to do whatever you want all the time, but it can be pretty lonely too. So I didn't realize like there's this whole other world of like stuff to do. When I'm with Romy and she has a 14-year-old daughter and they have 2 cats. The cats are a lot of fun. I didn't realize I'm a cat person, So it's it's nice to have like creatures around all the time and people and it's like
I never liked cats.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a couple times I've been around a couple of them and I've been like, this cat's okay. But like for the most part, like I'm really like a smell thing, kind of like there's a like if you've been in someone's house that has like a litter box that hasn't been cleaned a lot.
Yeah, you gotta stay on top of it, and thankfully we do.
Yeah, it's
we don't fuck around.
That ammonia kind of smell that cat pee has. It really it gets under my skin. It's like I don't have a lot of like pet peeve kind of things, not to be like play on words with pets, but like it really does like that gets under my skin, and it's like if someone said to me, like if they were like, hey, let's order food, and their house smelled like cat pee, I'm not gonna eat it in the house. Like I'm not eating in your house. Like I'm not eating in there. Like I can't. I wouldn't.
Hey, question: Does your wife ever listen to this show, Kelly?
She's listened to a couple episodes.
Does she like it?
She doesn't think. Well, keep in mind, my wife has no idea about like her entrance to hardcore is literally just me listening to music around her and her being like, turn that down. Yeah, she thinks it's funny. Like she actually, what she talked about and she thought was really good. She listened to a portion of the interview with Liam.
Yeah.
And she really liked the part where he was talking about, him kind of getting into religion and talking about St. Francis. And we talked about like, all three of us were kind of talking about our Catholic upbringing in terms of like, going to Catholic school and how we were educated and stuff like that. She thought that was really interesting. She kind of stopped for a second because she was listening to it. She goes, I thought you guys were supposed to talk about music.
I'm glad I was like kind of scared. I wanted, because he said like he went through something, and I was like, "Do you want to talk about it on the show?" Like,
oh yeah,
and I was like,
crying a little bit.
Yeah, but I love those conversations are the best. But I'm gonna get back to that in a second. Romy still has not listened to the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so Kelly's listened to like 10, 15-minute snippets of certain things, or like I told her that like the one day I was like, oh, there's a really funny thing. What did I tell her to listen to? Oh, because she's known Bobby Meadows. She's known Meadows since she was 19 years old. So
yeah,
she was like, oh, I want to hear some of that. And we were talking about I played her the part where we were talking about Byberry and like going into Byberry as kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
she was like, you realize you can never let the girls ever listen to this. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm acutely aware of what the girls are going to be able to, like they're going to hear it eventually someday, but hopefully at that point that, I won't be,
or hopefully they just won't care. Like,
or they'll just be like, yeah, we knew you're an idiot. Dad's always done dumb shit. Like,
yeah. Well, Romy still has not listened to the show. I have beef with her because of that.
I was just going to say, do you take offense to it? Like,
yes. At first I didn't, but then I was like, dude, she could listen to one. Like, just listen to one,
I mean, it's a hefty investment of time, though.
Well, yeah. But
2.5 hours sometimes.
She has committed to listening to the episode with Brad.
Oh,
because
yeah.
she knows Brad, too.
Okay.
So, I told her, listen to that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. That was one of those ones that, it was kind of going down the like regular path there for a while, and wow, did that take a sharp left turn.
Dude, those are the best. Like, it happened with Brad, and it happened in the Liam episode.
It happened with Liam too, yeah.
And with Kevin from Gates, like all talking. I love having those conversations because most people don't have any kind of outlet where they can talk about that stuff in any meaningful way. It's like Kevin was talking about, like, you're at the bar with your friends and you're like, yeah, man, I'm like dealing with an existential crisis after my cancer surgery. And people are like, cool, okay. Like where else are you going to talk about that?
Yeah, that's because that's the other thing is like, how do you bring that up casually? Like, you don't. Like, you either spoil the conversation and then make it about something that's either dark or something somewhere people don't want to go.
Yeah.
Or you talk about it with people that are really close to you. Like, and you bring it up in a way that allows you to be able to speak freely about it. But then, there's something liberating, especially if it's something you kept to yourself,
yes.
The first time you tell someone else, but to talk about it in a podcast where, a lot of other people are going to listen to it.
Right.
It's a huge step of courage. Like I really applaud those guys for bringing stuff up that I know was not necessarily the most comfortable things to talk about, but it's been really cool to hear them share their experiences because it's that type of genuine human interaction doesn't happen a ton.
Yeah, and I like the idea that talking about it can somehow help somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Or you don't know like the ripples that you're gonna make. I have a question for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
Does Kelly ever get mad at the podcast? Like if say we have to record or you have to do something, does it ever like get in the way?
No, because she's never gotten mad at it. Just because you and I, this is something you and I keep a pretty tight schedule with things.
Oh yeah.
So like, it's always kind of like understood, like this is what I'm doing. Like this is, and she has, fair warning about it. So she knows like, okay, so don't plan anything on Monday nights because he's going to be downstairs in the basement talking to Keith.
Yeah. Yeah. Moromi, I had some problems when we used to record on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Because like it would like get in the middle of the day. And plus I'm a nervous wreck right before and after because I just have anxiety in general. But now that we moved it all to during the week, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love having the weekend open and like not stressing about it.
What I really like is the fact that it's regimented in a way that like I know what I'm doing from 7:45 until 10:15 every Monday night. Like this is what I'm doing, and we start early enough that we've had technical issues before with people, microphones not working correctly and we have the time built in to make sure that we still get the episodes done.
Even if something goes wrong for like half an hour, we can still do like an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, and it's been really nice. There's been a couple that have run really long, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm going like, who cares? Like it's 10:30 at night. All I'm gonna do is go upstairs and go to bed anyway.
You know what happened the other week? Yeah. I sent the episode to Richie to edit, and he sends it back, and it's almost 3 hours long, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's too long. Like, how could it be that long?
We didn't record for 3 hours. Like, what else did we put in there?
And you know what I did? I sent the wrong fucking files. I sent the unedited files.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I had to have him like remix it. And
sucks.
I just took care of it. But I was just relieved because I was like I don't want to put a 3-hour episode up. Like I feel that just over 2 is too much sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's like somebody sent me something the other day. Oh, it was like some political guy that was on Joe Rogan. And I clicked on the link and it was like 3 hours and 4 minutes. I was like, fuck, I'm not listening to this. It's like,
if someone sends me a clip that's like more than 30 seconds, I'm like, who the fuck do you think I am? Like, do you think I have all day? No, I'm not doing this.
I actually, somebody, Riley sent me, he was like, there's that guy that he records completely by himself. He's called Cloud Kicker. And it's like instrumental, kind of like...
Oh, dude, you know what? He sent me 2 clips that I've been meaning to watch, and I haven't watched them, and I haven't replied yet, so I probably seem like a dick. I got to do that tonight.
No, Riley doesn't care.
All right. See, I would like end a friendship over that.
Yeah, Riley doesn't give a shit. Well, Riley's got 3. He's like me. He's got 3 kids under the age of 6. So he didn't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, he's got no time to hate people.
I was gonna say the fact that you haven't responded. He's probably like, oh, good. I don't have to fucking answer any of this shit. Like he's like, glad I don't have to fucking talk back to somebody for a little bit, and I can at least sit with my thoughts for a little while. But yeah, no. He sent me this Cloud Kicker. He came out with a new, I guess, like clips from his new album. And yeah. I clicked on it, and it was a Bandcamp thing, and it was like the first track was like 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and I was like, oh, I don't fucking have time for this. I literally like fast forwarded through like half of it. I was like, get to the riffs. Where's like the fucking part? Like that's how I think that's a lot of stuff though. I do that with like. And I don't know. I mean, I tend to go back to the exact same things over and over again until I've like, you know, completely killed them in terms of like my interest in it. So like, I've been like watching or listening to the same things for like the last 5 years as it is anyway. Like, so.
Oh, I got a new band for you to check out. Here, I'll give them a shout out. The band is Chiefland.
Chief.
Yeah.
Land?
Yeah, all one word. Chiefland. Okay. And the song is Cathedrals.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's from the album...
I'll put it in YouTube right now.
You dick. It's from the 2019 album Wildflowers. Josh from Hopesfall sent it to me today. It's fucking awesome.
Chiefland. What was the song called again?
Cathedrals.
Cool.
Awesome band. Excellent work, guys.
Oh yeah, it's the first thing that came up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so check that out later tonight. So now I wanted to talk about, you know, getting to talk to all of these artists is so great because like it just shows me that my perception is wrong on so many things.
Oh yeah.
Especially last week's episode with Pete from Renee Hartfelt. Like I think I always assumed that like bands or just bigger than they are, or like have it better than I think they do.
Yeah, Pete's was hard. Like there was a couple times where I was listening to him talk, and I was like, "This is heartbreaking." Because because they're so good,
dude. They are so good, and they didn't get their due.
If you need a starting place, if you listen to that song, not just Renee Hartfelt in and of itself, just fucking all of it's amazing.
Yes.
But there's a memorial song called Beneath that is so fucking good. It's like
it's crazy.
Dude, you could put it in a movie and it would be like the most emotional, heartfelt part of the movie. It's like the part where like, you know, the person has this epiphany, and it's like that kind of fucking stunning. Like it's moving. Like it's literally that kind of good. Like
yeah, Memorial has 2 albums: The Creative Process Berlin, which is not on streaming services, but it's out there. I think a lot of it's on YouTube, so Tommy's happy about that.
Yes, it is on YouTube.
And Mile High City is their second and last release. It's an EP, and that is on streaming services. You got to check them out. Everything you're saying is spot on. Like it's. Every time I listen to that song, I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like
it's so, and it's just crushing because it goes back and forth between like this really like emotionally kind of moving like acoustic guitar part to this fucking heavy like almost 2-step kind of section. It is so fucking good, good,
and it's just like that's why I wanted to get him on the show so bad. I'm like, this guy has to still be making music. Like you can't write that kind of music and then just not do it anymore. It's like
apparently you can though. Like I mean, I know he's working on an album by himself, but like that I don't know if that came across in that interview, but that dude is fucking so smart. Like that's his accomplishments in and of themselves are just unbelievable. Like
we didn't get to talk about the pilot license thing, really. He's got a pilot
he's
license.
Got a pilot license. He has his own glider plane.
Yeah.
He's like certified. So he's certified for I don't know what it's actually called, but it's basically like the mid-level anesthesia.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know, like if you just look up anything about like going to medical school, like the people that have like the most amount of training in terms of the amount of time they spend, the malpractice insurance they have to have and carry, anesthesiologists are fucking literally, they're miracle workers. They make people fall asleep and not feel any pain for a very specific amount of time. And understanding how to get people into that type of, like, you know, get your brain into that type of frequency and get your body into that, you know, so that your breathing is not too shallow, so that you're not, you know, you're not crashing while they're doing the fucking surgery and stuff like that. Like, it is literally like, you know, there's that saying about like more fine art than science. Like it's one of these things that's like, it is unbelievably based in science. However, it's an art. Like, you literally have to study everything about people in order to be able to understand. Like, you need to know like how systems function within each other, how like people's fucking how you're
I'm trying to do some mid-level anesthesia. You know what I'm saying?
Keith, you did some mid-level anesthesia for a good chunk of years.
Yeah, I put myself out for like 15 years. I think I'm done. During that Renee Hartfeld interview, I got thrown because one, I made the mistake of not eating before.
Okay.
When I don't eat before we do this, I get all like jumpy and scattered. So, and I was just like such a fan that I was like, you know, I just wanted to be like, hey, tell me everything that ever happened. Here, you want to hear a clip from it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, listen to this.
Hey, remember when you were in the
Renee Hartfeld
and you did that album,
the death of the ghost,
and at the very end of the song, it goes,
surrender me to the ocean floor, and I'll see you soon.
You remember that? Yes. Is that true?
Dude,
that's what I felt like.
Did you did pre-production on this?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It's good times.
It was funny though, because like that started with I sent you that meme. Remember when we were talking before we had Pete on? I was like, you know, the conversation is just gonna devolve into us being like, remember that time?
Yeah.
You were in that band.
You remember when you wrote Beneath? That was really cool.
That was awesome.
No, but the end product came out really good, and it was just awesome to talk to him, you know? Because, like, back to what I was saying, like, I assume, like, oh, Renee Hartfeld's got it made. Like, they have all the connections, they're on shows. I remember friends of mine were, like, playing shows with them, and I was like, oh, man, like, I should be doing that, blah, blah, blah. But remember he said, like, it just wasn't happening for them, and it seemed to be happening for everyone else.
Everybody else.
Like, everybody else just seemed to have the right connections and just some edge that they didn't.
Yeah.
That was amazing to hear from him, because I assume he has all the connections, and he has it all.
Yeah. You would think. They like, I mean, like you said it, they're in that upper echelon of post-rock. They are like they're one of those top. They're one of those top 5 bands. Like they're there. Like, and it's to think that at any point in time they had to struggle is like, really? Like,
yeah, that's why when he said like, no, we are one of the few people that watched this, I was like, what?
How?
Like, what?
How is that a possibility? Yeah. Like, I don't get this.
But I hope that they have like a resurgence and some type of resurgence once this reissue comes out of the LP, because I mean, come on, they deserve it, man.
They really do. They're phenomenal. I can think of a dozen other bands that don't deserve it that are way bigger.
Yeah. And what about this woman that just like made it her life's mission to keep them away from Revelation Records?
What was I guess we could put her on blast. He did it.
I don't remember her name.
I was gonna say I don't remember her name. What was the record label though? Do you remember the name of the label?
Textbook Music.
Textbook Music.
Yeah.
But it really seemed like she had a legitimate vendetta against them.
You know what I think it was? I think it was just like, no, you're gonna pay me if you want to do this, and that's
so
fucked up.
Fuck you, pay me. Lightning hit the building. Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, I just can't imagine that type of mindset where you're like, no, I'm gonna like stop you dead in your tracks and kill this band because like it's in my financial interest.
It's scary to think that there's people out there like that, but it's 100% of the time you encounter stuff like that. When you really look deeper, there's something else there. Like I mean, her motivation may have been money, but beyond that, you have to look at it and be like, okay, so why did she really need this money that bad? Like, or why did she need to hold on to the band this bad? Yeah. Like I always think about, when I've had a couple jobs where you've seen people like, well, I'm sure you've seen this before, where like you see people slowly starting to lose the grip on the position they have. Yeah. And they start grasping at straws to like do anything to maintain where they are. And you're like, dude, just be okay with it being over. Like, just give up. Like you're literally drowning and you're trying to grab other people to drown with you. Like, stop doing this. Like,
or like you're trying to move up and it's just never going to happen for whatever reason, politics, they're just keeping you where you are. It's like, dude, like move on somewhere else, like switch it up.
I when I was working for the law firm, there was an attorney that I had minimal interaction with, but I remember we had a client that we were working on a divorce for them. And in the process of doing their divorce, they had a serious slip and fall. And we were like, dude, we don't do personal injury, but we know a guy that does. Mm-hmm. And I remember the client came into the office for some type of meeting, maybe a month or so later. And I was like, oh, hey, how'd that go? I mean, keep in mind, this person like still on crutches, like they still were wearing a neck brace. I was like, so how did that go? And they were like, oh yeah, he said he didn't want my case. And I was like, why? And he's like, he said it wasn't financially viable enough for him to take it. And I was like, okay, hold on a second. So like, I went back to my boss and I was like, yo, he said that so-and-so didn't take the case. And he was like, well, that's the name of the game. And I was like, oh, but this is our client. Like, we're trying to look out for his best interests. Like, like we're, and he's like, yeah, but we're processing, we're doing his divorce. His slip and fall is incidental to what we're doing. Like, it happened during the course of it. But, and I was like, I mean, it seems pretty cut and dry. Like, it's pure negligence. Why wouldn't he take it? And he's like, well, it's clearly not worth his time. And I remember being like, well, I don't want to do this. Like, this is a pure numbers game, and if the amount of hours you put into it doesn't give you X amount of dollars, you're not going to expend the time, even though you're like, yo, this person, like, I mean, the injury wasn't like life altering. Like, they weren't going to have it for the rest of their life. Like, they weren't going to have any like devastating, repercussions from it. But it was like, clearly this person that like is really hurt. Like, you don't want to try and help them like get their medical bills paid. And he's like, oh, I don't have anything to do with that. Like, I'm here to like, process the divorce, and that's it. I'm like, oh my word. Like, I can't be a part of this anymore. This is so scary because you ultimately see the trajectory of where this is, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be this dude. I'm going to be having the same conversation with a 26-year-old. Fuck, man. Well,
let's talk about the show. This is going to be the last episode ever. No, I'm just kidding. We've got more good guests coming up. We've got some more national acts. We've got some more local acts. We've got some good shit coming up. It's going to be good. And What's next, Tommy? Should we do like a movie, a book, a monthly DJ night?
Let's do a 3-act play.
Yeah,
Bucks
that's
County.
a good idea.
Bucks County in 3 acts.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea, actually.
It would be. Here's the only thing. Like, in my head, I'm like, it practically writes itself, for God's sake. Like,
Yeah.
because it really is like there is ultimately a climax and then a very precipitous fall, like of the tiny scene we were a part of. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are involved with this stuff that when you start stepping on people's toes, you know, people's feelings are gonna get hurt. Or
Well, that's already happened a little bit.
oh no, wait, can we talk about it?
No, I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, off the air. When we're done, you can text me.
Yeah. No, I've gotten one. I've gotten one-off texts like, "Oh, this and oh that," and I'm like, "Okay," like, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have you gotten stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've gotten a handful of ones that have been
Yeah. Nothing major.
nothing major.
Yeah.
But I've gotten a handful that have been like, that's not how that happened.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, you didn't remember this? It's like, no, it was 20 years ago.
No, and there's a couple times where, you know, it's funny. I put a comment. There was a show flyer that you posted, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't even remember playing this show." And I tagged Anthony in it, and Anthony was like, "I don't remember anything." Like, fucking, he's like, fucking, he texted me after that. He was like, "Dude, I don't remember most of like 1999 through 2010. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?"
I saw that. He's like, I don't remember anything. I feel that.
I've had people. You know what? I was thinking about this, and this is more for when Pat comes in. But you know how we always have like, well, no, we don't. John Mariakis has the thing for Vadim every year when Vadim comes home to visit.
Yes.
And he throws a really nice party at his house over in Langhorne.
Yes.
And, you know, he has food and drinks for everybody, and everybody just kind of hangs out and, you know, talks shit. And there were a couple times where I was there and I was like, oh, there's people here that I haven't seen since the last time I saw them, and the last time I saw them was not cool. Like, it was like there was somebody in particular that I remember being like, the last time I saw them, I brought something up unbelievably uncomfortable, and they kind of just
exactly what you're talking about.
and they just stared at me, and I was like,
Yeah.
hi. Oh yeah.
I think we make those things bigger in our mind than they actually are. I hope. I know what you're talking about, though. I think it's probably fine. But you know what? I don't remember most of 2004 I don't remember like anything that happened in 2004 or 2005.
So I don't even remember. So 2004, I was a senior in college. So
Yeah.
I was so when I came home, I was coming down pretty much every weekend or every other weekend to hang out at your house.
What?
Yeah.
What?
In the summertime?
What are you talking about?
Because we were allowed to go to bars, dude. As soon as we were allowed to go to bars, I was coming down. Because were you living with Doug at this time?
No, that wasn't until like 2007.
Oh, okay, so Jesus Christ. All right.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
come down a lot then, too.
Yeah. Then I remember, but like This Day Forward broke up in 2003. And I think I kind of stopped going to shows because I don't remember going to any hardcore shows again until like 2006. So like I wish I could remember what I did from like 2003 to 2006, but I don't. I know I started my first band. So we were playing shows, but I don't know like.
So wait, I remember this. So this is when I got 2005 I got my first teaching job.
Yeah.
And that's when we would meet at Great American when we would go to the pub.
Yeah.
And so that's okay.
That's probably why we don't remember anything cuz
Jesus.
like the $5 bar tab for 75 Long Island iced teas.
Yeah, who sells $2 Long Island iced teas from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock at night? Like, it was just the amount
I'm surprised they never got like a lawsuit or anything.
Dude, the amount of DUIs that came out of that place, like every time, like we would just be like one weekend, be like, "Yo, do you hear so?" I'm like, "Fuck, really?"
Yeah, like one by one. All right, so folks, continue to write us, continue to rate us, continue to write us,
review us,
continue to review us. We need those. If you rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts, that apparently does something good for us. We need that. We need to be number one because we are number one. There's not a better music podcast. I can't think of one. Can you?
Oh, and we got to do something with the stuff that Doug dropped off. All the like giving out the stickers and the patches and stuff. Like he had that whole box of stuff.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a post and we're gonna like start mailing that stuff to people.
Yeah, no, because I have all of it here. I literally just whatever we come up with, I'll fucking mail it to your house.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can do that because I'm gonna be busy editing this thing.
Yeah, no, I got to do something because I literally do nothing for this. Well, I show up and talk.
Well, that's your role, man. That's what you do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. See, that's why I need you to be a part of this because like I'm not a huge talker. I move things along. I hit all the points, but you've like fill in all the gaps. You know what I mean?
I certainly I have the gift of gab.
You're like Cyclops from X-Men.
No.
You know how like he's the one with the goggles?
Okay, yeah. All right.
If you take off his goggles, the laser just keeps shooting wildly everywhere. So he has to have the goggles on to like focus
it in, yeah.
So that's like you. Like you're just spewing stuff out.
And you focus it in.
I point you and I focus you.
You're the rudder on this boat, man. You're steering this thing.
So together we make the perfect team.
We do complement each other pretty well too. I think that's a nice thing that we definitely have. Well, I think the other thing is that we have such a similar sense of humor when it comes to that kind of stuff, and a lot of the same sensibilities when it comes to what we really are passionate about and things that we enjoy. So I think that's a huge part of this.
All right, I'm going to invite Pat.
Yeah, but rate, review, send us emails, say nice stuff.
Yeah.
Say mean shit. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, if you have a problem, tell us. So like, I would like to read an email of like someone that hates us. I would honestly be complimented by that.
Just the subject line just says, "I got beef."
Yeah. Like imagine if someone like hated you enough to write you an email about it. I would think think that was awesome.
No, everyone's hatred towards me is just indifference. It's never outward. They're just like they just ignore it.
Does anyone hate you? Like, do you know if anyone hates you?
I know. Yeah, I know
Who?
a couple. So I taught with a couple people that were definitely not fans of me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know this. There was a teacher that I worked with a number of years ago, and I'm saying like 10 years ago. Not at the job I'm working at now. The job I had prior to this.
Yeah.
Where we had one of those kind of like epic kind of like back and forths, and I know I said some things that were just at the time I really felt them because it was like, are you in this because you get a paycheck? Or are you in this because you actually like kids and want to be here? Because it seems like you hate the kids. And like, I kind of really went after her and not after her, like, ability as a teacher, but like who she was as a person.
Oh,
and
no.
I know that for sure. There was a period of time, I guess about probably 2 or 3 years ago, where I was trying to just make amends with people and trying to like kind of smooth things over with a couple of people that I knew I kind of had been shitty to in the past. And I sent her like, an email saying like, "Hey, I'm really sorry for what had happened." And I sent her a friend request, and everything just got denied. Like nothing was ever.
Whoa! You sent a letter apologizing.
Yeah.
Hold on. You sent an email apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
And before you got a response, you send a friend request?
Yeah.
Why? That's too much.
Is that overkill?
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of like I cleared the air. So like,
no,
if
you send the email, you see what happens, and then you send the friend request. Just sending the email and then sending the friend request is very presumptuous. It's like, oh, okay, we're cool now. Here's the friend request. It's too much.
I don't know. So there's another dude that I teased him a lot when I worked at the law firm, and he actually brought up suing me.
Now, is this story real?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you in this law firm.
Why?
You know.
Well, I worked there for sure for 3 years. But it's it was definitely like I teased him really hard for a long time, and the last thing that I did that was just like like not even like a real joke, but like he had these like the pencils you get that you can get like from Staples that you get your like name put on them and shit.
Yeah.
He was like, for some reason like overprotective of them, and I think I had been in his office to do something, and I grabbed one accidentally, and he saw me using it. I remember he like snatched it out of my hand while I was using it, and for some reason that really like I guess I was just in a bad mood that day, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. So I got pencils made identical. You can literally get them made from like any office supply place will make them.
Yeah.
And I got identical ones made, and I would just break them and leave them around the office, or chew them up and leave them.
You really did that? This is real?
Yeah. So he was super mad because there was only 4 people that worked in the office. It was clearly me. Like there was the other lady was like fucking 60-year-old receptionist. Like she wasn't gonna fucking do shit like that. So
I must not know you as well as I thought I did, because I didn't think you would do something like that.
Here's my thing. It was done out of like teasing. Like I always thought it was like, just breaking balls kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he really took it like
yeah, that's like too much.
Yeah, at the time, I was 26 or 27. I thought it was hilarious in like that's like, let's tease this guy about like how, it's a pencil, dude. Like and I almost laughed when I got the bill, like for how much it costs, like to get like those personalized pencils. It's like, it's literally like under $1 per pencil if you get more than like 10 made. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this guy's flipping out about these fucking pencils. So that gave me even more impetus to be like, I'm fucking doing this. Like, and yeah, I was just I think I just got it in my head. Like I was kind of just picking on him because he was also, we just didn't get along for a bunch of different reasons. And, we didn't see eye to eye on stuff, and I thought it was a good way to kind of give him a little jab, and he really took it like super personally, and he was to the point where like he was gonna like he wanted to sue me for like harassment or something. I was like, you can't sue me for that. And he's like, yeah, I absolutely can. I'm like, oh. Like, you went out of your way. He's like, you went out of your way to humiliate me and give me a hard time, and I'm like, oh, fuck, when you put it like that, I didn't fucking think of it like that. I just thought I was teasing you. Like, Can
we contact this guy? I want him to corroborate the story.
I don't know. Hold on. I bet I don't have his phone number anymore, but I'm sure he's still in practice. Yes, he's still in practice.
Okay. Don't give out his name.
I will not.
Yeah.
But I just Googled it, and he does have a law firm. Well, he has a location at the very least. So.
I made an amends recently because I left on really bad terms with one of my bands. So I just emailed them one day, and because I was thinking about it a lot, and I was like, man, I'm a dick. So I just emailed them, and I was like, hey, like I was a dick. Sorry. Like I hope if we run into each other again, like it'll be cool and all this stuff. And they accepted it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
are they still a band?
They are in a new band. The band,
like the same guys, like the same core guys are in a new band. That's cool.
Yes, 2 of them. So, it's very early. I'm not gonna hit him with an email and a friend request right away. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna space it out.
When did you send this email? Like, is this recent? Like,
yeah, it was like a month or 2 ago. Maybe a month ago. But I'm glad the individual accepted my apology.
You know what though? That's a sign of maturity. Like, I guess showing up and being like, yo, like there's at a time and a place when I thought this was okay, or I thought like what I was doing was okay, was just obviously not. Like it was obviously not cool. But
yeah, I definitely what I did was not cool. But that's a story for another time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Pat, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah,
Pat. Everybody, welcome Pat McCormick to the show. Woo!
You, Pat.
No, we're not gonna do any of that testing stuff.
No, man, we're right into this shit.
Yeah, we're an hour deep.
Yeah. How you doing?
It's going good, I guess. As good as it can.
When are you going in for surgery?
Wednesday.
Okay, so today's Monday, you're going in Wednesday. So, folks, when you hear this, wish Pat a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
What kind of surgery is it?
Hernia.
Oh, is that bad, Tommy?
I was just gonna say, there's several different types of hernia. Do you have like the one where like part of your intestine pushed through your abdominal wall? Is that what it is?
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. So yeah, it can be. It depends on where it is and how it is. Why are you going to me for medical advice? I fucking
because you know everything.
I don't know. It depends on how it is, but I know someone that recently had a hernia surgery, and their scarring is significant. And the thing is that in order to get to it, a lot of times they cut through your abdominal muscles, which is extremely painful, and the healing process is very slow. And the only reason I know that is just because that when I had my spleen out, that's how they got to my spleen.
You ready for that, Pat?
Mine's actually on the belly button.
Okay, so yours is like lower. That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wrong, I guess. But
no. You're definitely not wrong. It's just that it depends on where it is. It depends on like because your large intestine and your small intestine are in different placement in terms of where like your anatomy. So like one's higher and one's lower.
Yeah, well, it'll be good because it's my same transplant people are doing the surgery. So.
Yeah, they did a good job with the transplant. They're going to do good with this, too. So, Pat, I want to take us back a bit. Now, Pat is credited with getting me into hardcore, him and Mike Shaw. So thank you for that. Because without you...
You're welcome.
Yes, without you, this podcast would not exist. I would be listening to, like, Dave Matthews Band or something.
I know, you had to push through some barriers. Jeremy always...
Our friend Jeremy, like, he just did not want me to listen to hardcore. He, like, I don't know, he was, like, protective of it or something. Like,
really?
Yeah, I would be, like, quoting Shai Hulud lyrics. He'd be like, oh, you listen to that now? Oh, like, what, are you hanging out with Pat now? And I'd be like, yeah, what's wrong with that? So I hated him for a while, but we got past it.
That's like your best bud now.
Oh, yeah. No, we're tight. So, Pat, we were talking about you earlier. Now, you've done a lot of legendary shows in Bucks County in Philadelphia.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Continue.
But I was amazed. Like, I remember you were living with your dad in that apartment at a racket club, or no, the other one.
Middletown Trace.
Yeah, and you got a computer, and like within a day, you were like already booking your first show.
Yeah, that's good old AOL. You can harass people all you want,
But I was amazed by that because, like, I don't know. I was just always afraid to do everything. What did you do? Did you just get on and start emailing people and saying, like...
Yeah, I didn't know anyone,
Yeah.
That first show that we did, which was a complete failure because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
We did a Bane show. That was actually Mike and I. We both lost, like, I'm guessing like $300-400 a piece, something like that.
And at 18 years old, that's
everything.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We were a little older. We weren't 18. I think we were like 20.
Okay.
But it was the same. But yeah, I mean that wasn't fun to lose that money because that was a lot to us back then,
So what happens, like, if enough people don't show up, do you have to pay the bands out of pocket?
Yeah, I mean Palenka Park was pretty expensive for back then. It was like $100 an hour, basically $500.
Yeah.
We paid just as much for the sound guy, so that's $1,000 right there. And he still showed up, and we paid him more than all the bands.
How many people showed up to that show?
Like 30, maybe.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, there would have been like 200, 300 people that I think there would have. Because we went nuts. Like, we really did flyer for that show. I really think that would have been a good show.
Yeah, I'm going to put up the flyer for that. That's actually the first flyer I ever made. And your first show. I could not make it because I was home with strep throat. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a fun show, I guess. the bands. I'm trying to remember who was on it.
It was like Diecast, Drowning Man.
Yeah, it was a weird
Bane.
combination.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite show you've ever done?
Well, probably have to be a show where there wasn't some type of incident. So the Bane shows, definitely out the window.
Yeah.
Because there was 2 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them were complete disasters.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, the second one I made money on, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Probably the Walls of Jericho show, or one of the This Day Forward shows. Actually, the This Day Forward show at Polanka was probably the best one. With Every Time I Die, Life Once Lost.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, Most Precious Blood. Yeah, that was definitely probably my best show. That and the Walls of Jericho show at the Kill Time.
Yes, now that I remember. That was a great one. Wasn't Sparklights the Friction on that too?
Yeah, I can't remember if those dudes played.
Yeah.
Because they were like, there was like a shit ton of bands on that show.
Yeah.
Because another show had canceled, and I was like, you can all just jump on this one. But I mean, there's some good shows. Those were probably those 2 shows, the Walls of Jericho show. I think that was Hope Conspiracy too.
Yes.
I mean, This Day Forward basically played every one of them.
Yeah.
Not every one of them, but it was either them or Life Once Lost was probably on everyone.
Can we talk about that one show, the crazy one that happened at the Kill Time?
What, the Bad Luck 13?
Yeah.
You're just waiting for me to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insanity. I mean, I guess we should start from the beginning.
Yes.
Right? This is like a couple days before.
What was the original lineup supposed to be?
Originally, it was supposed to be Reach the Sky and Bane, but Bane ended up dropping out. Like they dropped out a while before, but it was Reach the Sky and Punishment.
Yeah.
I do not remember who else was on that show. So, Pit Boss, whatever 1,000. The dude was messaging me on AOL, and I'm going to be honest, I had no clue who they were, which was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And he kept bothering me, I guess.
JLJ or something?
Yeah, I never technically told them they could play.
Yeah.
But they showed up anyway.
Now that's crazy, because like I was wondering how this came about, because I'm like, why would Pat book a Pit Boss 2000 Bad Luck show? That's just asking for like serious trouble.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Bad Luck 13 was never invited to play that show.
Okay.
I never told them. I never talked to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Reach the Sky, Punishment, whoever else played.
Yeah.
Now, Pit Boss decided, all right, I think they wanted to play because Punishment was on it.
Yeah.
That's my guess. So they just showed up.
Yeah.
And then Bad Luck 13 was like, I guess they're friends with the Pit Boss dudes. Like, okay, they're playing.
Wow.
We're just going to show up and play too. So, I mean, that's...
And that's an impossible situation, because if those guys show up, like, I'm not telling them no. Like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? So what did you do? What did you do? Like, what was your reaction?
Before Bad Luck showed up, I remember Reach the Sky was supposed to headline.
Yeah.
And I knew that things weren't going to go well. Reach the Sky ended up playing first or second. I think they played second right after Punishment. I paid them right away. And I told them, you guys should just get out of here now. And they ended up, I think they left. I paid them right away, because I knew, I had a feeling that this wasn't going to end well.
Yes.
And the show actually seemed like it was going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Pit Boss was playing. I wasn't inside, but I went to get food or something.
Yeah.
And I was walking back, and all of a sudden everyone's running out of the place. I guess someone grabbed a fire extinguisher or something and went nuts, or brought one in.
Yeah.
And then at least Bad Luck 13 didn't actually get to play. And then they started beating the shit out of each other outside. Bad Luck 13 did. And then next thing I know, Doug grabbed me and threw me in a car, and then that was it.
You just got out of there.
I would forcefully, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. I remember being at Rock and Roll Plus with you, and one of the guys, we were talking to one of the guys that works there, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I booked that show," and he's like, "You booked that show?" It was like the word was out about it.
I know. That was the best part. Is I think I did one more show there after that. I mean, Bob had to pretend he was doing it though.
Yeah.
Which was the Walls of Jericho show. So.
Yeah. I wonder if that degree of like craziness still exists out in the scene somewhere. It must, right?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this. I definitely didn't do a good job with. I should have put more into security at any of those shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if security would have even done anything. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. What? I would have gotten 2 dudes that. Who would I have gotten? You know, in the city, it's a lot easier to get someone.
Now, you have to tell the story of how you started tour managing for Coheed, because it's classic. And for our listeners, Pat was tour manager for the now classic band Coheed and Cambria on one of their early tours. So
Probably their first. Yeah, we did the U.S. at least twice.
yeah.
But all right, so it was actually after that Walls of Jericho show. I definitely made probably the most money that I ever made on a show, and I want to go back to that show for a second.
Yes.
So I remember Mike and we were outside in his red Corsica, counting like thousands of dollars.
Oh God.
In the middle
Of
Yeah, I
Westfield.
mean, you guys have discussed the layout of what it's like down there in, I think, previous episodes.
Yeah.
Or at least a previous episode. It's not the best area.
I wouldn't be counting. I wouldn't want to count $20 in that area.
I'm guessing it was probably like $5,000 we were counting, you know?
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Just yeah, so I did not make that much on that show, but that was just, in total.
The door, yeah.
After that show, which I believe was my last show, Mike was going to school at Penn State, so I decided that, let's take a little vacation. I'll come with you.
Yeah.
Stay with you for the week. And Thursday, who I knew from doing shows and whatnot, I knew Jeff.
Yeah.
And we went and saw Thursday and at the I can't remember the place.
It was like something
State.
Hall. Seton Hall or some shit.
No, I was gonna say the Crowbar.
Yeah. Yeah, that was up there
That
too.
might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where they played. And Coheed was the opening act. And I just remember Jeff saying these guys need someone with them. They don't have anyone. I was like, all right. So I just dropped everything. Not that I had anything going on, and went with them. And then that's it.
That was it.
Did that for a couple years. So.
Was it multiple years?
Yeah, it was at least like year and a half is my guess.
Yeah.
So it was close, in between somewhere.
Wow. So did you witness them like kind of blowing up on tour? Did you ever see them and you're like, wow, these guys are like really doing it?
No, because
No.
here's the funny thing is they toured with This Day Forward. I don't know if you were on that tour.
No.
And I didn't watch them. They did like at least 4 or 5 shows. And I didn't watch them at all. I didn't think anything of them.
Yeah.
On any of those shows. I never talked to them. And then I guess that Thursday Kohit show was probably a month or 2 later is my guess.
Yeah. I was out with This Day Forward. This Day Forward was in San Francisco and Coheed was there too. And
I remember that.
You were there.
That was yeah.
And we met up, but you like pretended not to know me. I think you were big timing me. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because you like didn't say hi to me or anything.
I think there was something else going on. We don't need to talk about
Did you hate me?
that. No, I think that had to do with.
Was it the girl?
Yeah, I think so. That was around that time, I think.
Oh wait,
I'm
did
pretty
you
sure.
Did you hate me? Because I didn't hate you.
But I don't. Yeah, I don't think it was. I definitely didn't hate you, but I think that's what it was.
Oh really?
That's my only guess. And I was probably busy too.
That might have just been it.
That show was nuttiness.
Yeah, because I'm paranoid, so I think like if someone doesn't say hi to me or like if I don't get the reaction I want, I'm like, oh, they hate me for some reason.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember because Kohit played that place twice. I think it was called like Slim's or something.
Yeah, it was like
They played with Juliana Theory the one time,
yeah.
and then the other time was Zayo's final tour. It was a bunch of bands like Zayo, Shia From Autumn to Ashes, Unearth. Like it was,
Wow.
there was like 9 bands on that show. Zayo showed up like 10 minutes before they were going to play.
The one I saw was the Juliana Theory tour.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the last show you booked was that Walls of Jericho show.
I think so.
Wow.
I remember I was supposed to do another one. It was American Nightmare at Palanca, but I had already left to do the tour stuff, and
yeah,
it kind of I didn't put any work into it, and I just canceled it like a week before the show.
Oh man.
Right.
So
I'm sure that would have gone without any incident.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that would have been fine. So why did you stop touring with Coheed?
Well, they had a little blow up when we were out in California.
Yeah.
And
wait, between you or just between band members?
No, it didn't have anything to do with me. I don't want to get too deep into it, but they had some issues. I mean, they took off for a couple months. I don't know if I think one of the things is I don't know if they were ready for it yet. And plus, could have been the touring. I don't know. They just had a blow up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk specifically what happened.
No, you don't have to.
You could tell that the last 4 shows, it was just boiling.
Yeah.
And you could tell that it was just going to turn into what happened. So
yeah, and when you're out on the road for as long as they are, or at all, I mean, the tensions are high, man. You know, especially at that stage. They weren't big. They didn't have like a tour bus or.
Yeah, we were in a van, but they were. You could tell that they were starting to explode. You know how Thursday just kind of boom.
Yeah.
You could tell that was happening with them.
Oh wow.
I think, and the other thing is, however long I was with them for, we were doing it nonstop. I don't know how long. I don't even ever remember like being at home at all. You know, I think that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Just the build up. I mean, it sucks that happened, but
hey, they made it.
I think it worked for them that happened because they got their manager after that.
Okay.
Who was a big guy, you know, Blaze James or whatever.
Yeah.
At the drive-in Sparta.
Oh wow, that's a good resume. In Claudio's comic, there is a character named Patrick McCormick.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Don't people
I guess,
like randomly hit you up about that occasionally?
They like a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even have a copy of that. Apparently, it's hard to get.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask if you've ever read it.
I have seen the photos yet.
Did you like it?
Photos, though.
Does it do you justice?
No, I mean it doesn't look like me at all.
That'd be great if the character was just like pissed off and like shrugged. You know, like
I will be honest. I did read the synopsis of Patrick McCormick, which is weird thinking about. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of what you were talking about earlier, Tommy.
With what?
With where you just thought like Pat didn't like you?
Yeah. The first time I knew Pat liked me was so we were having that thing at Mariakis's house. Do you remember this, Pat? And you were walking up and I was leaving and I was like, yo, what's up, man? And you were like, hey, what's up? And I was like, yo, I really don't feel well. I'm actually going to head out. And you looked at me and you were like, oh, you're leaving? Who else am I going to talk to? I was like, fuck. I was like, wait, you actually like me? I thought you fucking were completely indifferent to me. Like,
wait, when was this? Was this like years ago?
Yeah, it's just like the first time we had Vadim's thing at Mariakis's house. So probably 2017, 2018.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved you, you know.
But you're like, you're a hard dude to read because you're just like your most of your body language is like meh, like whatever.
Yeah,
you just like.
That's true. It's not the first time I've heard that.
I'm the same way. I think that's why we're best friends, Pat. Because I'm very quiet and I can be standoffish when I don't know people. And sometimes people interpret that as like you don't like them or something.
I never thought Pat didn't like me. I just thought you were just indifferent. Like you were just like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's every single person that pretty much feels the same way the first time they meet me.
Well,
there's probably like a list that's like fill a Bible. The amount of people that have that same exact feeling.
listen, you got me into hardcore. We were running buddies, man. We went to all the shows in the area. Remember, we would do like, it was before MapQuest and the internet. We would like drive to the venue to figure out like if we could get there. Just do like a dry run.
And we'd still get lost when we actually
went. I was the worst person to like be partnered up with because I get lost anywhere. I get lost on my own street. Like I have a very bad sense of direction.
Dude, we got in a lot of fights just getting lost. I think it was always in Jersey too.
Oh, always. Always.
The Melody Bar. I remember in Asbury Park was really bad too. Yeah. I can't remember who we went and saw, but I just remember us screaming at each other.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was when One King Down did that reunion.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. I can't even remember what I did like 2 weeks ago, but I can remember that. I mean, why else would we have gone to Asbury Park for a show?
Wait, we actually went to Asbury Park?
Yeah, we did for a show.
Did we make it to the show?
I think it was. Remember One King Down when they did like that reunion? It's when they stayed at that apartment we were just talking about. Like they actually stayed there for a week.
A week?
Because you don't remember that?
I do. I didn't know it was a week though.
Because they played a bunch of shows. They played like 3 shows in Philly, like Palenque.
I remember the Palenque
gig.
Got
thrown on a couple other ones too. But I think it was that same thing. They played Asbury at some point.
Yeah. And I remember sitting in your apartment and we were showing them like This Day Forward demos. This was like pre-transient. Like they had these 4 new songs recorded.
Yeah. It is always funny, like whenever going to like This Day Forward, trying to play them for those type of bands. It was always so hard.
It was like scary. You know what I mean? Because we're like, oh, are they going to like it?
It always felt like a lot of, I'm not saying they were, but a lot of those bands were kind of stuck up in their ways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, with the newer, I'm talking about like those older bands. I can remember, I know one band that I tried to continuously play for, I'll just call it out, Shia Lude, like, because the actual first tour that I ever did that wasn't This Day Forward was Shia Lude.
Really?
I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it was Shia Lude and Sick of It All. That was the first tour I ever did without like any of you guys, and it was before Coheed.
Really? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I remember the whole tour. I kept trying to get them to listen to This Day Forward, and it's just like
they wouldn't.
They just didn't. He didn't care.
Ah, I see. You know, band dudes are weird, man. Like the last gig I played, I still have beef because remember that? I don't want to name anybody, but you were at the show up here. Remember that? It was the last live show I played. Yeah, you came.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and you came up for it, and like, you know, I was happy to play the show, of course, but like we didn't get paid, we didn't get any drink tickets. We brought more people than like the first couple bands, and then like there was just attitudes like, oh, what is this band? Like, it's like, oh, what the fuck's your band? Like, what kind of question is that?
What band was this, Keith?
It was called Disappearing. We were very short-lived, but it's actually one of I played bass in it, actually, which is different for me these days, but I liked the band. It was weird. It was like a weird, like, heavy, like, I don't know. It was, imagine like a sludgy, math rocky Fugazi. It was like interesting.
Yeah, I honestly never heard that.
Yeah.
The last time I saw you play live was at Kung Fu Necktie, and you were in that band that was like a hardcore band.
Oh, Zombie Fight, yeah.
Zombie Fight,
yeah. Man, I wish I could have a do-over on that band. Your words still haunt me, Tommy, because like, yeah, you're like,
did I say something mean?
Yeah, you're like, you need another guitar player, and I'm like, I'm the only guitar player. And I was like, and I still think about that. I'm like, fuck. But like, no, it's okay. I think I was often not sober while playing. That's one. And two, I was like going too nuts because I was so into the music. So I think if I like cut it back a little bit and just focused a little more on playing, that it would have been fun.
Or just Yeah, no, I guess that's what in my head I'm going like, well, get another guitar player, and then just you can still go nuts, just turn you down a little
Yeah.
bit.
So if I could do it now, it would be better. But listen, it's fine. We had some good shows and some good times.
Sorry about that.
And now in the last 5 minutes, I'm trying to think of who else played that show, the New York one. But I know the one guy that was in the band.
Yeah. Don't say. I don't.
Yeah, but we had fun.
Oh yeah. No, it was a good time. I just don't want to name anybody I don't like. I don't want to like give them free PR on this show. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I think we must be thinking about someone else. Then.
Probably. The show was fine. It was a good time minus a couple people. Now, Pat, have you ever thought about touring or doing a show again?
No, not at all. It's never even crossed my mind.
You don't miss it at all?
No. I mean, I guess you can make a couple bucks.
But like, like old times, camaraderie, like the interacting with the bands that you don't really like think about that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's nice to if those bands are playing, I'll go see them. Other than that, I could seriously give two fucks. I mean, and that's just the other thing. Those bands back then that I was doing, yeah, they're gonna come play Palanca Park now, or
maybe
whatever venue. Yeah, I guess it's true. Bob did do a couple of big shows there.
Now, so what are you up to these days? What's going on?
I mean, there's the health stuff. Unfortunately, that's consuming a lot. So I was on dialysis for 3 years. So this is like age 34, dialysis for 3 years, and then the transplants, and then it's just been a kidney pancreas transplant. So
yeah,
but things are, at least health wise, have been better. So can't really complain.
Yeah.
Kidney pancreas transplant's a big deal.
No more diabetes, right? Now
No.
you still have some symptoms.
Yes,
Because I know
we
you had some
discussed
trouble
that.
this week. Yeah.
Yes, which is very weird to have your sugar drop still when that shouldn't be an issue.
Did you talk to the doctor at all? Do you know why that happened?
No, I didn't see a doctor today. I just had to get, half of it was that pre-admission testing.
Listen, Pat, we want to wish you good luck with the surgery on Wednesday. We want to wish you a speedy recovery. And, you're one of our best friends. You're part of the history of this show. I would say the first seed being planted of this show was, remember when we were supposed to go see Ant-Man, and we were going to stop by Tommy's real quick to like say hi to him, but we just ended up sitting there talking all night about like bullshit and shows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's you guys started talking about this stuff. Doing a podcast. Kind of. You didn't name it specifically, but the ground was definitely.
Yeah, because there was always talk about doing something. So I think that was the first seedling of something. And then fast forward to, I don't know, 5 years later, when I finally got my shit together a little bit, and here we are. Can you believe it? I can't.
I mean, we went over there at least 2 or 3 times, right? And it ended up us outside discussing
just sitting on the porch,
just bullshitting about, I guess the good old days.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
It's crazy. It is I look back on it. I mean, obviously fondly because we're doing this, but just the sheer amount of bands and I don't know, everybody that we knew and just showing up to the Shaw House. It's just a lot of good memories.
It is. I mean, you guys are doing an awesome job. I mean, DeZeo, Scott Mellinger, did I say his name right?
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yes.
They're one of they're like my top 3, 5 hardcore, whatever you want to mesh it in there. They are right there,
Yeah, you loved them. They were like your favorite band. They're still awesome. They're still awesome. I don't know if you've checked out any of their newer stuff, but
no, I have to though. I don't listen to anything new, which is kind of lame. No, I think I did listen to Last Coalesce though. out of all those bands, like I can't remember the last Converge record I listened to,
Yeah.
which is pretty
Check
sad
out
because they're awesome, you know.
they are consistently good, but check out the Well-Intentioned Virus, Zayo. They have like some of their old members back. They're on a tear. It's good stuff. They're coming out with a new record actually pretty soon.
Yeah, they do a lot of reissue stuff too.
Yeah.
I see that a lot on Facebook and Instagram. Like, hey, we're reissuing this. It's coming out, putting this back out on vinyl. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not a vinyl collector, so in my head I'm going like, all right, good for you guys. That's great. But
Yeah.
yeah, like they definitely have put some cool shit out in the last couple years.
I only buy vinyl of records that I'm like the top 5 records that you have to have. You know what I mean?
I've never
Like-
bought
So I
never
don't-
bought a vinyl record in my life. Never
Ever?
my thing. Never. I don't think so.
Not even any Beatles or anything?
No. I do have a bunch of Yes on vinyl because of my mom. So that's it. That's
There
all
you
I
go.
have. But
Yeah.
I didn't get to finish the Zayo one yet though. Did you bring up the Penn State show at all? I can't remember.
No, that was great because like Jesse was so funny. We were like talking to him and one of the other guys before the show. Wasn't it Scott too?
I don't think it was him. I think it was the don't mean to be mean, but the replacement singer. It wasn't what's his name? It wasn't Daniel. They had the other guy
What?
was in
Really?
the band for a little bit. Yeah, he did that show. It wasn't Daniel.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
he did. He did a bunch of shows with him. This other
Oh.
guy. Yeah, I can't remember his name. But I maybe Scott was there. But I mean, that was the first time I met Jesse at that show, and it was not what I was expecting. Let's just leave it like that. And
Yeah.
he was awesome. You know.
Yeah. He was like really funny. We were like joking about stuff and I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting either. He was cool.
I was gonna say because whenever I saw them after that, he'd come up to me and we'd bullshit for a while, which I thought was cool. And when he left the band or whatever it was, I don't know what happened there, but I think that's when I kind of stopped listening to them. Because I liked him so much. I thought he was a great drummer too. So at least he crushed the set. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah. He was like the heart and soul of that band cuz he was the only original member. I feel like he was probably carrying it, like, keeping it along, but they're their own thing again. I mean, Russ is back in the band. You got Scott, you got Daniel, and the other guys. It's a fresh new sound. It's good.
And that's really all you need. I will check it out.
Yeah. Well, Pat, listen, I want to thank you for coming on, and I'm going to be down there soon enough, so we're going to hang out. And,
hopefully this won't end for a while, but maybe all 3 of us can hang out at some point.
For sure.
Miss you guys.
Yeah, miss you too, man. It's a bummer, like when you hear like people talking about like, oh yeah, you remember like Keith? I don't remember who we were talking to, but they were like, it was oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. The guy from Poison the Well, Chris. He was like, yeah, one of the venues basically said you won't see any live music until 2021. And I remember laughing at that, being like, what a fucking ridiculous thing to say. Yeah, I'm sure fucking January is when we're going to see it. And it's like, that's looking more and more feasible at this point every day. Like, holy shit. Like, I just got, I forget what, I got an update on my phone from, I forget which school district it was, but they're going virtual. Until I think it's Council Rock is going to be virtual until Thanksgiving break, and they're going to reassess at that point.
They're doing that around here too. I have a buddy that teaches, and he said the same thing. Bristol Township, I think.
Man. Well, Pat, thanks again for being on. And listen, once again, folks, write us, northeastscene@gmail.com. Review us on Apple Podcasts. Write a review. Rate us. Get in touch with us. We want to hear from you. We need you. Become a member. And you don't need to do anything to become a member. You just need to say that you are. And then you are. That's it. Will it into existence. So thanks everybody for listening. And until next time.